Good morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the United States or around the world. We are excited that you are joining us today. This is Melisha with Love for Life Wellness, coming to you from the beautiful city of Springfield, Missouri. But I'm saying greetings, shalom, peace, and prosperity to everyone that's all around. I am so excited for our show today with Soumya, and she's from California, and we're going to be talking about dieting. So this is a great time to talk about because I know some of us has gained some weight over the COVID, and so we're trying to get ourselves back. And so this is a great show for that as well too. But let me introduce myself to those that don't know me. Let me just make sure that all my stuff is lined up correctly before we get started. So I need to make sure we are live. And Soumya, you could do the same thing. Okay, so I'm live there. Perfect. It is live. So if you go to your page, Soumya, you should be able to share it wherever you want. It says this post can't be shared. Share to a page. Let's see.
I think I shared it to my group. Let me see if I can share it to my page.
Okay. Yeah, you probably can. Let me see. I want to share it to my group. I want to share this to my group. Yay, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to be all over the place because it's in my private group, and then I'll be doing a watch party from here. So.
Okay, perfect. I shared it on my page as well. We live everywhere.
We are live. Okay, perfect. And we're going to start a watch party there, and I'm going to turn this down. Okay. Perfect. So I think I've got everything set up right for the first time. That's great. Okay, so we've got it everywhere, and people will be able to see us. And then I'm excited about what we're going to do today. Let me get back to StreamYard where I need to be. Okay, wonderful. We've got people on already. So if you're out there, say hello to us. And if you have any questions, type them in, and we will see them, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. But let me introduce myself to people that don't know me. But my name is Melisha Bailey. I am a nutritional health coach. I graduated from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and I started my wellness journey and my health coaching journey from my own sickness. I was sick 7 years ago. I was on a cane. I couldn't walk. I had fibromyalgia. I was pre-diabetic, degenerative disc disease in my back, osteoarthritis, and I was addicted to pain medications. I was just a total mess. And so I just decided, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to die like this. And I just took control of my health. So I started by just changing the way I ate, and I started to quickly turn things around. And then I went to school at the Integrative Nutrition because I wanted to just learn how to eat better for myself. And then it turned into this big passion of me being able to help women. And I was with a client this morning. We did a farmer's market tour, and that's some of the services I do. We had a great time talking, and she has just made a complete turnaround. She's lost 47 pounds, but I've had great success helping women to turn their health around, especially women that are suffering from diabetes or pre-diabetes. And so, and help women lose tons of weight and gain control of their life. And a lot of women these days, we are busy with our families. We've got kids. We've got maybe spouses. We maybe have aged parents. And what has happened to a lot of us is that we look up and we are sick and we're depleted. And then you think, who's going to take care of me if I get sick? Or who's going to take care of my family if I get sick? So now is the time more than ever for us women to take control of our health, take control of our life. And health coaching is a way to do that. And so what I've done with my Sister to Sister Saturday shows is I have solicited health coaches from around the country and around the world to help me to share my vision of helping women to get well. And so I reached out to Soumya, and I'm so excited. Soumya. And I'm so excited that she is with us today. I would invite you to any woman that is not a part of my private group. Love for Life. It's a group that's just for women, and it's a group that I'm wanting to grow to thousands. I've got about almost 250 in there, so I'm excited. But it's a group, it's a small group. We're a sisterhood where we help each other on our journey to wellness. I do lots of coaching in there, give a lot of tips. I have a lot of freebies in there. And so please join that group if you want to have a more access to me as a health coach and get a lot of knowledge and help you with tools that is going to help you on your journey. Also, too, I have this is showing live on my YouTube channel, Melisha Bailey. So you can always go to my YouTube channel and watch it there, or subscribe. I need subscribers. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to grow it. And so I'm excited. So I'm going to be doing a lot of things there. So if you are on today, Barbara Norfor from Roswell, New Mexico. She's on today. And if you're there, just give me a shout out, say hello. And we are about ready to get started with Soumya. So I'm so excited that she has agreed to do my show today. She helps women with, help them to get off the roller coaster of dieting and help them to learn how to undiet. A lot of us have been on diets after diets after diets and failed and failed and failed. And so the goal is not to be on a diet, but to learn how to eat. And so this is what she does. So I'm going to introduce Soumya and tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and how you started helping women.
Hey, Malaysia, thank you so much for having me, first and foremost. And what a powerhouse you are. I must say, kudos for turning around your own life and then helping and using it to help other women. Um, Hats off, really, very inspiring. A little bit about myself. I'm Soumya Gayatri. I have graduated from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition as well. I primarily work with Indian women looking to lose weight and get off the roller coaster of dieting. That is, and integrating Indian foods into our day-to-day routine. When I first moved to America, and I have been dieting my entire life, right, from eighth grade on, I really struggled to eat my own foods and lose weight. I couldn't understand why the foods that I grew up with, were never on the list of any meal plan or any any diet chart that was out there, right? So it was so hard for me to feel satisfied, because if I was not eating the food that I was growing up with, I was constantly dieting. So for me, that was very important. So that's what I do. I finally figured out, after so many years of struggle, I finally figured out how to eat our foods, lose the weight, but also improve my body image, get off constantly stop, not worry about, hey, I'm eating this food, I'm going to get fat, you know. I'm going to put weight on. That's a constant thought so many of us have. So um, and then once and for all, to get control of your body and feel like your body is working for you and not the other way around, not feel like an alien in our own body. So often we look at ourselves and think, who is this? Like you said, we're taking care of our family, we're taking care of our kids, spouse, aged parents. Work is, we are also working full time. So many in the Indian diaspora are working full time. So, it's a lot of juggling that they have to do. But sooner or later, they do realize that, hey, I've lost me here.
Yeah.
So right? I've lost me here. So I don't just work to lose the weight. I actually work with them to find them, right? Because when you lose the weight, then you start seeing, hey, this, I've reached my potential, right? So what I have realized over time is, whether we are trying to lose weight, or whether we are trying to start a new business, or whether we are trying to learn a new skill, or whether we are trying to do anything new, it's about reaching our potential. It's not just about the weight, right? So
Yeah.
yes, so that's what I help. I help my clients do. I help them reach their potential and their vision for themselves.
And I like that because a lot of times it's really not about the weights per se. A lot of times it's about how we think about ourselves, how we value ourselves, and how we feel we show ourselves to the world. And sometimes we make ourselves small because we are afraid of the potential and what our lives could be like. And when we open our minds as a health coach, when you help people open their minds to be able to know that they have great potential and they can do anything, that's when the magic happens, and that's when everything changes.
And so often, so many of these women, we tend to put ourselves down, but so many of us have done something hard all our life, right? Maybe it was going to college in something, and maybe you struggled with that and you got through it. So many of us have moved to America, so we have adjusted to a new life, we have adjusted to a new country. I for sure never drew, I never had to drive in India. Like, I live in a metropolitan city like New York, and I grew up in Mumbai. So for me, I always had public transportation. So driving was the last thing I could ever do, right? But I remember being so scared on these freeways, and but I now, if you wake me up at 3 a.m. in the morning and you need to drive, you need to get here. Okay, let's go. Like, get my wallet, let us get my license, and I'm in the car, right? So many of us have truly done so many hard things. But when it comes to ourselves, when it comes to realizing our potential for ourselves, whether it's setting a plan, eating plan, and sticking to it, or getting in a workout every day, right? We just don't give ourselves that credit. We just don't. We just say, hey, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do hard things. But the truth is, we have constantly done hard things, whether we have had babies or we have gone through pregnancies, multiple pregnancies, right? Or you have adjusted. We have done hard things. So often we put ourselves down and think, I am not capable of doing anything more than this,
Go ahead.
right? Right? So I think, as women, we definitely need to give ourselves much more credit to ourselves.
And yeah, we do, because I like that. We have done a lot of hard things. A lot of us, we struggle, and most women, we have struggled with a lot of things. And a lot of women have struggled with weight or with body image or with eating disorders that we didn't even really knew we had. And sometimes it's easy. What I have found is that it's easy to just give up or stay where you are. And it's hard to make the move to make those changes because of past failures. So when you're dealing with your clients, how do you help them when they've had those past failures, move from those failures to knowing that they have potential and that they can do it, and stop and not have the attitude that they can't?
It's such a great question, Malaysia. That's perfect question. Um, I look at other areas of life as well. Where have you succeeded, right? So it's so easy to say, when it comes to food, and when it comes to taking care of myself, I do really bad. Okay, then, let's see, at the level of commitment you had. Say if you had a child and they really needed a lot of help, how did you go about that? Right? Say your child needed to, he, I had a kindergartner, right? And if one day the teacher would come to me and say, hey, your child is not reading, she needs to start reading. What's the level of commitment you're going to move? As a mom, I'm going to move mountains to make sure that I get in that half an hour to 1 hour of reading every day so that my child can read. Or if it was my spouse's health and I had to help him eat meals on time, or if it's my aged parents who are with me and I need to fix meals for them on time, or I need to take them to doctor appointments, or I need to take them to the grocery store, whatever, you know what's our level of commitment? It's not like that level of commitment isn't there in us. It just doesn't transcend to us, right? So it's very important to look at other areas of your life where you have had huge successes, and then um, make yourself realize that it's not that you are incapable of it. It's just that it hasn't transformed into this section of your life, right?
You're right. I had a conversation with one of my clients last week. She's a very successful woman. She's worked, gone to the top of her profession. She's amazing. But she just couldn't conquer this one area of her life. And so we were having a conversation, and I'm like, made her really think, why haven't you been able to conquer this? What are the roadblocks? And sometimes when people say it out loud, then it clicked in her mind. I've done this hard thing. I've rose to the top of my profession and I can conquer this. And she hasn't been the same since. She's just like, okay, I can do this. But it takes time, but you got to have a made up mind. And
Right.
sometimes I start with the why. What do you think about? Why do you want this? And a lot of times when you think of your why, then you'll do it, don't you think?
Right, absolutely. So I do the five whys exercise with most of everybody with who is with me. They work with me. I dig into the whys. Though, so if I say I want to get healthy, why do you want to get healthy, right? And then I say because I want to run with my kids. Why is it important for you to run with my kids, right? So you dig in, and then because so often I'll say, hey, I want to get healthy. I want to lose weight so I can fit into my dress. Right? There's a pre-pregnancy pant or something that I've had from 10 years ago dress, and I want to get into that. But why is it important for you to get into that? Because I feel confident. So then why is it important for you to feel confident, right? When you dig into your whys and you get that final answer on your fifth or the fourth or the fifth why, that is a true reason that you want to lose weight. You're not trying to lose weight because you're trying to fit into some clothes, or you're trying to and we think this is such a superficial thing, right? Losing weight is such a superficial thing. Hey, everybody wants to lose weight, but the truth is, you're not trying to lose weight just to look good. You're trying to lose weight to realize something else in your life, whether it's looking good in your pictures or having the confidence to take a picture at any time, anywhere, right? Having the confidence to run with your kids when they're out running on the block. Or for me, the biggest reason is I don't want to get any lifestyle diseases. My dad has a lifestyle diseases. He has diabetes, which he has reversed currently, going on a completely vegan diet. But I know that I am susceptible to it. Like parents on both sides of my family seem to have some sort of a lifestyle disease. I don't want to get it. I want to live a good, healthy old age life. I don't want to be sick and pop pills, right? And that's my biggest motivator. That's my why. So because I am so clear on my why, I get up and I work out. Like there are days when I don't want to do stuff. Nobody that I'm sure you have those days too, Malaysia, but you don't want to eat right. You just want to chuck it. You don't, my work has been stressful, or my kids have given me a hard time, or some friend said something shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do want to chuck it, but my why is so huge for me that you know I don't. Even if I do give in to that one temptation that time, I'm quick to pick it up the next day. I don't let it become 3 days.
Right. And that's the thing is if you always keep your why in your view, even if you get off, I tell my clients all the time, yeah, it's okay, because sometimes you need to get off to kind of refocus and readjust things, but don't stay there. Don't lay there and don't wallow in it. I think even with the COVID-19, a lot of us, we kind of got off track because we didn't think it was going to last this long. And so I know for me, we went to a place of where comfort. We went for childhood comfort foods and things that gave us comfort because of the unknown. And so now it's time to roll it back in and to get back on track. And so I think that's where it is. And so getting that confidence that yes, we can make those changes and we have to, but getting clear on that why is so important, and not go and get away from the superficial, but to the real point. For a lot of people, getting those whys is because you don't want to be in a wheelchair, or I don't want to have to give myself insulin shots, for the rest of my life, or I want to get off of medication. Those are the whys. And our food changes everything. And that food is medicine, and what we put in our mouths makes the biggest difference for our health. And
Right.
yes, exercise is great. We need that. But what we eat, like I went to the farmer's market this morning, bought a bunch of great foods. I'm going to make juices and smoothies and things like that. It's so important what we eat, and not to diet. So when you have a lot of my clients, they've been on 10 diets. They've had the Atkins or the keto or all these diets. How do you help somebody that has been a constant dieter and help them to learn undieting, but just to learn how to eat right?
Yeah. Again, so first thing we do is understand that food is nourishment. We move away from the fat, from this notion that we have generated over the years that food makes me fat. I put on weight when I eat food. And so many of us are not eating enough, Malaysia. Actually, one of the first things I'll do is find out if all of these people are eating enough. Because I find so many of us are not even eating 1200 calories a day. Let's start there. So because they're so used to this calorie counting, what I
Mhm.
do make them do is first week, I say, hey, no pressure, all pressure is off, right? Just eat and log your food, right? Because I want to see first where you are. And then slowly and steadily, I start asking them questions. When do you feel full? Are you full when you eat this much food, right? What is your feeling when you're eating, putting this food in your mouth, right? Are you eating this thinking, hey, this is going to make me fat, or are you thinking this, thinking, oh my god, this is nourishment and it's going to give me fuel. I'm going to be energetic after this, right? I won't be sleepy in the afternoon if I eat this food, right? So these are the questions we go in. And the biggest thing I one of the biggest things I am always talking about is checking in with yourself. Three-fourth of the meal is done, put your spoon down. Are you full? Take a break, or stop watching TV when you're eating food. If you're watching TV, or you put your started your phone and you started looking at your phone, your meal is done. You don't need to eat no more. Right? Because you're so the disconnect is huge. Plus chewing your food,
Yes.
yeah, right? Chewing your food. So many of us, even I, for the longest time, I was just gulping my food down. Even today, it, some of these habits are so ingrained in us that they they just don't leave us. So even today, I'm very mindful. Am I chewing my food? It's very easy for me to gulp my food, especially if I'm in a rush with the kids and spouse and work and everything. It's very easy for me to gulp down my food. So it's very conscious decision on my part to chew my food. Am I chewing my food?
And then you talk about the art of chewing your food, because when you chew your food, you release enzymes and the nutrients, and you think about all the this may be technical. People may not want to hear this, but you think about what happens to the food when it goes down in your stomach, and if the food isn't chewed correctly or good enough, then it takes your body a long time to digest that food, because the food has to be pulverized with all the acids in your stomach to get it through, go through your blood system. And so taking that time to really chew your food, putting your fork down and taking that time. I've even had to do that for myself. Really chew your food, especially if you're eating a lot of raw fruits and vegetables, really making sure. But that when you do that, it releases the enzyme. It helps your brain figure out you don't need as much food anyway, because your tongue releases a chemical in your brain that says, okay, this is good. I don't need as much, So yeah, chewing your food and thinking of food as nourishment. A lot of us live to eat. I know I used to live to eat, not eat to live, So making that change is different.
And then I also speak about desire because our desires for food. So once this part is done, wherein you are slowly you're eating, you're chewing your food, you're mindful about whether you're full or not, and you're letting your stomach acids release, you're letting your hormones come in and say, hey, I'm full now, right? And then I go into the technical part where I speak about hormones and I speak about insulin, leptin, and ghrelin with my clients, right? Because as so here's my deal, Malaysia. When I started, when I moved to America and I did the course from IIN, I found that a lot of Americans eat a lot of meat,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when we took the meat out of their diets, they seem to fare very well. But here's the deal: where I grew up, vegetarianism was huge. My parents are vegetarians. My grandparents, it's a religious thing for us to not eat meat. A lot of us don't eat meat because it's just not done, right? Meat has never entered our houses. Even then, in spite of being vegetarians, I my dad is diabetic. I find a lot of lifestyle diseases back in India, even within the vegetarian families, right? Obesity is huge, heart diseases are huge. So that was my struggle. Why are we like this, right? We are vegetarians, we don't eat meat, so what's going on? Right? So I found that our foods are so heavy on carbs,
Yes.
and so heavy on carbs as vegetarians. Rice was a huge part of our meals. Tortillas, wheat tortillas were a huge part of our meals. You've heard of naan, you've heard of roti, tandoori roti, right? These are all carbs, and most of us we most of us we ate huge quantities of rice, right? So that was my struggle. And then I have come to a place where I now guide my clients especially, and I also have a free meal planner for everybody out there as to how to eat a meal that balances protein and carbs, being a vegetarian even without eggs, right? So then I speak about insulin resistance, and I speak about why our insulins are off so much, because my diet was huge on carbs, like huge. That's the maximum. That was the biggest macronutrient I was eating on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it was now I realized that it was no surprise that the people are dealing with diabetes so much because the carb overload. I mean, insulin is off, right? So I speak a lot about insulin resistance. I speak about how to include more vegetarian protein in our diets, how to balance our meals, how to eat the right snacks, right? I speak a lot on that because it's important. It's important to balance our hormones, right? So that we can lose the weight. And I also speak a lot on reducing inflammation, because we also not vegans, we are vegetarians, so milk can be huge in our diets.
Mm.
And a lot of processed foods can also be huge. There are different Indian snacks that the diaspora eats a lot. It's very common to eat a tea with something we call as rusk, which is a wheat bread that is, I think, deep fried. I'm not sure, right? Or it is a white flour, right? So the awareness is not there that these are deep fried inflammatory foods that we are eating. And then on top of that, we move to America. So the donuts, the tacos, the the pizza, the soda, all of that is on top of this. So we have gotten to a place where the inflammation in our bodies is high, our insulin resistance is off, and then we wonder why we are gaining weight,
Yeah.
right? So when they come to me, when I start working with the clients, not only am I speaking about the mindset part of it and the undieting, I'm also speaking to them about how to increase your nutritional value of your food in your diet
Every day.
every day, every single day. And some of them are so surprised. They'll be like, Soumya, I lost 3 pounds in 1 week. One of my clients lost 4 pounds in 1 week, and they're so surprised. I'm so energetic. I feel light. One of them had fibromyalgia. She has almost healed her fibromyalgia. She's feeling better. The aches and pains have gone down because we are working with her body, not to heal her body first and then lose the weight. So I always tell them the weight will come off. Heal your body first.
I
The
like
weight is
that what
bound to
you
come
said.
back.
Heal the body first, because I know for me, I lost weight quickly, but when a lot of times when your body is healing, you won't see the weight drop off right away. And so a lot of people get frustrated because they want to lose the weight like that. Well, you didn't put the weight on overnight. You're not going to take it off overnight, but I like what you said, heal the body. And because we can't see the body healing from the inside, we think we're not making progress, but you really are.
Yes. So then I make notes like, what was, did you get a headache? Are your migraines lower? Is your aches and pains lower? So if you've dealt with fibromyalgia and the pain is constant. So if she comes back and tells me, no, I haven't felt pain the last 15 days, I know I'm making a lot of progress. The inflammation is going down because I can't fathom living with that kind of pain. I can't imagine being in chronic pain.
Oh, that
Um,
fibromyalgia pain, that's the worst. I thought I was going to die. It felt like I was being eaten alive from the inside out. It really, really did. It was horrific. I wouldn't wish that. And that's how I got addicted to pain medication, because of my pain level. And it wasn't my doctor's fault. She was just trying to help me to to keep me from feeling so much pain. But you know what? Once you get the inflammation down and start putting the right foods in your body, a lot of that pain will go away. So,
and you have to remove sugar and flour too, because
yeah,
when your body is so inflamed, it's natural for us to and we don't realize. So this is the education I do on a daily basis with all of them, right? Sugar is inflammatory, flour is inflammatory, cheese is inflammatory, and when you're eating a pasta bowl with no vegetables on it, milk, cheese, butter, white flour, all inflammatory. It's like a combo of inflammation served to you on a plate.
that's a recipe for disaster, not only for your weight, but for your health, your arteries, your gut, all of it.
Yes. So then how do you deal with it, right? And then we speak on these practical terms. How do you deal with it? So, we go to restaurants, we get food, take out food, pizza is ordered in the house. How do you deal with it? Um, and then once they have figured all of this out, we speak about desire for food and the dopamine hits that we get and the intense pleasure that we get, especially with somebody who craves chocolate a lot, or who craves deep fried foods a lot,
Sugar.
right? Excuse me. So and when we are constantly surfing Pinterest for what types of foods to make. The media is constantly bombarding us with images of food, right? Facebook, everybody's posting about food nowadays because everybody's home and the cooking is off the charts, right? Everybody's cooking and everybody's cooking a lot of comfort food, right? So our brains, we are almost feeding our brains, hey, you should be eating this, right? You want this, you want this. So then after a while, your brain starts saying, but why am I eating a salad? I want to eat either whatever that is, pasta for us. I could say for an Indian in me, I would say I want to eat a samosa. Where's my deep fried patty of samosa with potato and peas filling, right? Where is it? I want to eat that, right? Because we are feeding our brains these images constantly, day in and day out, and we're getting those dopamine hits from our food. So then we speak about moving the pleasure out of our food and then getting the pleasure from other areas in your life, because that's what is important. The day we move the desire and the pleasure out of food, and that's when, for me, that's what shifted. Okay, because I remember being kind of a person who, when food was served on the table, could not wait a second. She had to eat, she had to eat, and I served myself huge amounts of food because I was always afraid the food's gonna run out, even though it was never gonna run out, because that's what my mind was trained to do.
Hmm.
Right? When I shifted my desire for food and I said, hey, this is just food is for nutrition, right? Food is to nourish me.
To do though, to shift the desire for food, because a lot of times those desires have been there since childhood, and even from a baby, I haven't, they've been there all of our lives, and we have, and a lot of times, I don't know. I don't know in the Indian culture, but I know for here in America, we have such a reward system. You do good, you give candy, or you do good, you get ice cream. And a lot of times the reward system is not good foods. And so that's kind of how we grow up. And then you start having issues and you start gaining weight. And a lot of times, even now, we want to shift our reward system for doing good to something when we do, when we've had some accomplishment, we want to shift that to something that's not good for our body just because it's a learned behavior.
Absolutely. So is it possible to get pleasure without negative consequences?
That's a big question.
Yes. So I get pleasure from my walks. I get pleasure
Uh-huh.
by cooking something healthy because I am sad. So when, my biggest thing is to hack food. Like if there's mac and cheese, I'm going to put some cauliflower and some mashed cauliflower and carrots in it for my kids, and that gives me tremendous pleasure. That I'm giving my kids food that they like. Right. I get pleasure from talking to women like this, right, and serving them and thinking about how I can serve them. Right. What is our bigger purpose in life? When we move out, when we stop buffering our emotions with food and
Yes.
emotions, right? Because when we stop that and we start saying, but what am I trying to achieve here by eating this food? What am I trying to stuff my emotion? Because once all of this is done, right, and it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get these things in place, make sure you're eating enough, you're chewing your food, and that is constant, that stays constant. Then we start really digging into, but why are we eating the way we are eating? Why do I feel this lack of control over food? You know, who am I? What am I trying to eat? Am I trying to eat my emotions?
Hmm.
Right? Am I trying to somebody said something to me, I couldn't let it go, and I'm stuffing that emotion with food,
Hmm.
right? So that's what I my biggest, it was never hard to eat the right foods. It was hard to not associate food when I was tired, hungry, sad, or happy.
Hmm. Hmm.
That was the hard part,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Because over time, my brain had got accustomed to um, maybe it's reaching for a chocolate cake when I'm sad and tired
Hmm.
and PMSing, or reaching for another chocolate cake because I'm happy, and another chocolate cake or when I was stressed and I need. The thing is, that never solves the problem. It only makes it worse, right? Because then I start beating myself. On top of eating the chocolate cake, I'm also beating myself up, saying, I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to put the weight on, you know, I'm going to get fat. All
And
these things.
And so when we beat ourselves up, and then I had a young client where she she did the same thing. She was beating herself up. And so that's not good either, to beat yourself up. And so how do you help your clients to not beat themselves up when they have those perceived failures?
First of all, it's okay. It happens. Life happens to all of us. But what I ask them is to go back to the thought that caused them to eat. What was the thought that caused you to eat? And it takes time to do that work,
Yes.
right? It takes time to do that work to get conscious. So the next, and I tell them the biggest thing I'm talking to everybody right now is to slow your brains down, because when we are in a phase of like, I need this, I need to eat this is going to fix me right now, our brains are just spinning at such a fast rate, right? Take 10 deep breaths, just get slow down, because when you slow down and tell your brain, I am not supposed to eat that, it's going to listen to you.
And then just even taking a minute to think about it, instead of grabbing stuff, just taking that minute, do I really want to eat this? What am I going to accomplish when I eat this? How am I going to feel when I eat this? And sometimes if you ask yourself those type of questions before you eat it, then you won't. But if you ask yourself those questions before you eat it and then you still do, don't beat yourself up about it. That's the thing. You made a conscious decision to do it, but don't beat yourself up about it. We've got quite a few people on today. Let me recognize Becky and Alicia and Megan and Paulette, Misha and Barbara. They're on today. I had Habiba on one of my other channels. Let me see who else is on. Hannah Bell was on today. And so if you guys got any questions, please feed some questions to us. I would love for Soumya to answer any questions that we have. Do you have anybody on your page that you want to recognize, Soumya?
I'm so bad with this, I can't really make out who is watching.
Okay. Well, I can see them on my page. So, but we appreciate Sumia's, her people in her group that are here with us today. We're excited that you're here. So let me ask, so do you give us like, we're talking about undieting. So do you have like 5 tips to help somebody to get off that diet roller coaster and help them to undiet? Your 5 tips.
My 5 tips are, first and foremost, recognize that the diet has not served you, right?
Diet does not work.
They don't serve, right?
Okay,
and
diet don't
and
serve.
right, they don't work. Don't beat yourself up. It is what it is. Accept it. Accept where you're right now. Accept that you have been fed these lies over the years, that this is what going to work, right? And we didn't know better, so we listened to them, but now we know it's not working for you. So accept that and honor that about you, honor that wisdom in you, right? Second is to, first and foremost, second would be to dig into your why. Like, really get clear, because if you don't get clear on your why, then you are going to constantly keep going back and forth, because you're not going to make a lifestyle change. You're still, even if you work with even if you work to include good protein, as a vegetarian, if you were to work to put in good vegetarian protein sources, you would still be dieting, right? Third tip would be to chew your food. Like, really chew your food, because the process of digestion starts when you look at the food, when the saliva gets kicked in, when the enzymes go starting, when you chew your food 10 to 15 times, 30 times, that's when the process starts. And then then, because that leads to you feeling full, right? And then you will really check in to see if you're full, right? And the fifth thing would be to not worry about food. Like, that's the biggest thing. Stop worrying about food being not serving you, making you fat, because that's when do we start dieting? We start dieting when we believe these foods that we are eating are making us fat, right? So stop worrying about food as a source of something that's going to make you fat, and understand that food is there to nourish you, to work for you. Your body wants to work for you. It's not an alien species out there that's not going to comply with you. Your body is going to listen to you if you listen to your body.
So what was the fourth thing? That it was chew your food was number 3, and and then number 5 was not worry about it. So I kind of, what
The
was number
fourth
4?
one was to watch out if you're full,
Oh, watch out if you're full. What?
right?
Okay,
So three-fourth
check
of the meal,
if you're full or
stop.
not. Okay.
Mhm. Three-fourth of the meal, stop and see if you're full. And even if there is some leftover food on your plate, it's okay to let it go. Like
Okay.
it's okay because so often we are taught finish the food on your plate. You need to finish the food on your plate. That's what was taught to us. You're lucky you're getting so much food. There are kids out there who don't get this food,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Right?
And then we all grow up to be fat because we eat everything on our plate. First of all, we put too much on our plate to begin with. And so if we start with smaller portions, that can help as well too. And so that helps you to watch what you're eating. And then you don't have to feel like you have to eat everything that's on your plate. And then if you're still genuinely hungry, then you could get some more food. But a lot of times if you just drink some water, one of my clients said she just came in. She said, "What was the first three?" So the first three, Tarina, was diets don't serve you except where you are. Is that correct? And dig into your why. We talk a lot about why. Dig into your why. Why are you? And asking not just the first why, but like 5 layers of the why. I want to lose weight because of this. Well, why do you want to lose weight? Because of that. And I want to wear some pants. Well, why do you want to wear these pants? And so you have to dig into your why to get to the real reason. A lot of times our first why is superficial. And then we get down to really the core of what our why is. And then number 3 is to chew your food. Take some time, really chew your food, release those enzymes and vitamins and nutrients. Am I correct? Sumia, that's what you said, right? And then number 4, to watch to see where you are so that you don't, if you're really still hungry or not. And then number 5 is not worry about eating all your food.
Right.
Anything else?
No. And then we also constantly speak about making an identity change, right? If you're trying to only lose 10 pounds and 20 pounds constantly, the weight keeps coming on and off, on and off. So what kind of a person do you want to become? I want to become a person who lifts weights. That's my idea. I love lifting weights. Maybe you want to become a person who does yoga every day, or you want to become a cyclist, or you want to become a runner or a marathon runner or a triathlon or a swimmer, right? What's your identity? Right? Because the day I say, I want to lose 10 pounds, I can lose 10 pounds by hook or by crook, right? I could diet.
I have a question here. Do you recommend drinking while eating? How do you feel about that? I know how I feel, but what do you feel? How do you feel about drinking while you're eating?
I don't drink water while I'm eating. Absolutely
Mm-hmm.
don't. I may drink water maybe a half an hour ago or half an hour after, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't drink water to fill my stomach up because that's false hunger. Then I'm not eating enough for myself. To drinking water so that you don't feel hungry to eat your meal is not the way to go. Is not
Well,
the way to be.
what I've learned is what I was taught is that sometimes if you're drinking water, it can disrupt the way your body digests the foods and messing with the enzymes and the vitamins and dilute them when you're eating in your stomach. So because you want your gut and your stomach to get all the enzymes from your food. And so I make it a point not to drink while I'm eating. And then I guess she asked, should you wait 30 minutes after a meal? 30 minutes after your meal, Tarina, to eat or to drink? 30 minutes. Are you saying, Tarina, wait 30 minutes after a meal to drink? I would say yes. Give your body a chance to digest your food. What do you think, Sumia?
No, I give myself about 15 minutes to half an hour. Anything goes. I'm just not gulping water before and after my meals, and
Right.
it's just become a habit. It's nothing. It's just become a habit, frankly. I used to do that. I used to drink lots of water while I'm eating my meal so that I wouldn't feel as hungry. But it never worked.
And she asked the question, do you recommend 30 before, 30 after the drink? Sometimes I take a digestive enzyme. And so a lot of times I may take that digestive enzyme about 15 to 30 minutes before I eat. And a lot of times this is a 16-ounce water. So a lot of times I'll drink because I'm trying to get my water in too. And so I'll drink a whole one of these while I'm taking my digestive enzymes, or I have another pill that I take. It helps with my food helps me to metabolize my food. So I would say if you can drink, you don't have to gulp and drink a whole lot of water to keep you from eating food, but not, you don't have to drink a lot of water to keep you from eating a lot of food, because I think even if you drink a lot of water, you're still going to want to eat, because your body needs the nourishment from the foods. It needs the enzymes and the vitamins from the food. So I don't think that's the way to go. But I would say not drinking while you're eating. That's the best thing. And then wait a little bit. You okay? I know I had that coughing too. Oh my God. And then waiting, and then about, maybe about 15, 30 minutes after you eat, then drink some water. And then that may help you to figure out if you're still really hungry or not. Did we ask you? I know that it was washing the nutrients away. My mouth gets dry. How do you stop from choking on food? She says her mouth gets dry. So I don't know. I've never heard that before. That your mouth. I know that it's washing the nutrients away. However, my mouth gets dry. How do you stop from choking on food? I've never heard of that. Soumya, have you?
No, maybe you could start by incorporating a few soups in your meals till you get used to it, because you're used to having a lot of water with you when you're drinking your meals. Start by having some soups with you, small quantities, so that you can chew your food. Over time, the amount of saliva that's being excreted may actually go up, because you're not drinking so much water, and you could be able to chew your foods down without your mouth getting dry. The other thing to remember is your dryness in the mouth could be due to dehydration. So be aware that you have to drink a lot of water throughout the day and not at only meal times. So if you're finding that your mouth is going excessively dry at meal times, make sure that from 9 to 12 or 11 a.m. you are drinking good amounts of water to keep you hydrated.
Well, I know she drinks a lot of water. I'm just wondering if maybe small sips of water, not gulping, maybe drinking, a small sip of water while you're eating, just to kind of make it so that you're not choking, but not like drinking a whole lot of water as you are sitting down to have a meal. That may help with the dry mouth. And you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
She said thinking about eating turkey is sometimes dry when you have to drink. Yeah, so sometimes I guess if you're eating drier foods, you may want to maybe just sip on some water, but don't drink a whole lot of water as you're eating. But I've never heard of that, Tarina. Thank you for those questions. And I would say, if you're eating drier foods, I like the idea of eating some soup before to kind of get the saliva going and help your tongue and your mouth not to be so dry. A lot of times when we are out eating, especially if you're out with friends and family, we're talking. Like right now, my mouth is dry because I'm talking a lot. So sometimes if you're out, and sometimes I would think sometimes maybe the food maybe have a little bit too much sodium in it, and maybe you're getting dry from the it could be processed foods or foods that have too much sodium in them. What do you think? So
No,
yeah.
I haven't heard of this, frankly, but I know when I choke on the food that I'm eating is because I'm badly dehydrated. I haven't paid attention to drinking water at all. So that's where I was coming from. Frankly, I haven't been asked this question before. Maybe some research is due.
I've never had that question before either, Tarina. So I'm going to have to look into that. Because I know that you drink a lot of water, so I'm not sure what is going on. But we'll figure it out. I'm just thinking maybe taking small sips while you are eating, but not drinking a whole lot. Maybe just drinking a little bit to help the food not to be so dry but I think if you're chewing your food good, then you're going to get the saliva, and that's going to help you not to be as dry. I don't know. I have to do a little bit more research on that, but that's an excellent question. Thank you for that, Tarina. I appreciate your questions. Anybody else have any questions before we conclude? Soumya has given us some great tips. And I know you said you work a lot with, when we talked, you work a lot with the Indian women in your culture. Yes, a lot of the women are vegetarians. Like I know quite a few vegans and vegetarians, and they are big because they eat so many carbohydrates. And I guess that's what was happening in your culture. You don't eat any meat, but you're eating a lot of carbohydrates and gluten and sugar and things like that. And so you've been able to really help a lot of women in the Indian culture turn their health around and turn the foods that they eat around. And I think that's the same thing I'm trying to do with not just African American women, but with women in particular. But in the African American community, we have our own foods that we like, macaroni and cheese and our greens with the ham hocks and all that kind of stuff and cornbread. And so one of the things is taking some of our most beloved foods that we eat as comfort foods and turning them and making them a little bit more healthier, and so that's probably what you've done in your Indian culture as well too.
Absolutely. And there's a huge awareness right now that we need to move to eating less carbohydrates and eating more sources of protein within the Indian community as well. There's a lot of awareness going along that. But the other thing is to remember that we are not our parents. When they grew up, the situations were different. My dad says, but I used to eat this quantity and nothing happened to me. But my dad was on the floor working and walking up and down so many hours a day, right? So you have to take in to picture what type of a lifestyle do you have. Um, or maybe our forefathers were farmers, and when they were on the field, they needed to eat that kind of food. They needed a big bowl of rice. They needed it because the carbs give you energy to work through the day, right? So their lifestyle was different. So today we are not them. We have a different lifestyle. We need to really dig in to see that uh, why are we still continuing with those patterns? Just because it's been passed down doesn't mean it's right for us today. And take a deep look at it. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, some of the foods can be included in a better way, right? But there is some amount of planning that goes into it. Definitely.
Planning is key. I have Marisha on today, and me and her have worked. We've done some meal planning parties, and I have, and so that planning is key too, to make sure that you are planning well thought out meals that are going to be nourishing, that are going to make you full, that are going to be full of vitamins and nutrients, and then cooking in advance and having food prepared. That's a great way to undiet, to make sure that you've got good food ready to go at a moment's notice in your refrigerator so that you're not grabbing unhealthy foods.
And also looking at your kitchen and stripping it off of the pantry. If you have so many treats that you are eating, strip them off. And the other question I get a lot is, but my spouse eats them and my kids eat them. Then feel free to put a note on it. It's not for me, it's for my spouse. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, sometimes we have so much decision fatigue, right? I don't want to make one more decision right now. Like, I'm going to go to the pantry and grab this, but I don't want to make one more decision right now about what to grab and eat. But if you were to put a note on it and on the snack and say, this is not for me, say it was, my kids are there, so sometimes we'll have muffins in the house, right? And I'm very good at it. I don't eat them. But if you struggle with it and that's something that you have to eat and you have to go and you don't want to eat it, it's not on your plan, put a note, it's not for me. So every time you look at it, your brain reads it to you, it's not for me. Okay.
I like that. So when you see it, your brain sees it and your brain connects it to a feeling. So when you like, it's not for me, your brain's like, that's not for you. Don't eat it. Turn away, walk away.
Right. Because as a moms, and so many of the women that I work with mostly are moms, right? We are doing so many decisions at all times of the day. The last thing we want to do is take a decision for ourselves. So
Right.
cut that work down, right? Make a plan. What foods can you eat? And then it's simple. When you look at it, right? This is not on my plan today,
I
right?
like that. This is not in my plan today.
Today.
So make
And
a plan. Put it in your phone, write it down, put it in your journal, make a plan and stick to it. That's the thing. You got to stick to it though.
yes, and then the emotions will come up. I don't want to stick to it. I don't want to do this. Why should I be doing this? It's so hard. And that's where I work with them, right? Because anybody could give you a plan and have you make to it. And then you're dieting because you are not working to fix your emotions behind it. You're not working to fix your desires behind it. You're not working to fix the um, all the things that come along with it, that this is hard, I can't do this, everybody else is eating something else, I am the odd man out, I feel left out, those emotions. So then we have to work on those emotions and work through them and come to a point where we accept it, and then you stop on dieting. So it's a whole process. It's not a So I always tell them, give me at least 3 months. You have been here the entire life, give me at least 3 months to make a chip in the rock,
Right.
right?
And that's where health coaching comes in. A lot of us have tried so many times by ourselves. We think we can do it alone. And some people have been very successful at doing it alone. And I commend those people that have done it and just been able to turn around. But a lot of times you get in a tribe. You may do some things with your girlfriend, or I see a lot of the young girls in my Facebook page. They're joining groups now because they've watched their parents and their grandparents have these illnesses, and so they don't want to go down that road. And I'm so proud of these young girls. They formed a tribe and they're helping each other. And so if you're middle-aged like me and you've tried, or you don't have a group that you can that are going to guide you and help you, that's where health coaching comes in, because we're there with no judgment. We're not going to be judgmental. We're not going to beat you over the head, but we're going to gently guide you to think about, make some changes, make some decisions that are going to help you to be your best self, and to make those changes and help you to make those plans and help you to stick with them and keep you on the road. And so a lot of times a client, they may stick with you. A lot of my clients are with me for 6 months to a year. And I've even have a couple of clients have been with me for over a year, because they need that accountability and they need that help, And so I think that's what you provide for your clients, is that accountability.
Yes, we do accountability. We do lots of, first comes the accountability, then comes a lot of digging into our emotions as to why are we feeling it like, right? And then sometimes just holding them with tough love. You said
Yeah.
you're going to stick to this, you're not doing this, you're finding excuses to do this, right? You need to stay on your plan, right? And sometimes it's coming up with practical advices as to, hey, I need to go out for dinner today, there is a barbecue party today, what do we do, how do we eat, how do I not feel left out and still be a part of the group, right? All these things we give. So with you and me, we give support where it's not available, right? If you as a woman, you are in a place where you do not have the support to lean into to get the changes in your life done, reach out to Malaysia, right? Because so when I never had coaches before, I always used to think, oh my god, I need to do this by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do this by myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the deal. Lean into support. Having support is not bad. There is no judgment around it. There shouldn't be any shame around it. Whether it's a medical practitioner or a mental practitioner or a coach of any sort, right? There is no shame or judgment around it. Actually, I'm a person who has a coach now, and I am grateful for that person, because
Yes.
they keep me on this path, right, that I'm trying to do. Okay, they keep me focused on it, and it's amazing to have that kind of support, right?
It
If I have a
really
question,
is. Most coaches have a coach. Most people have a mentor that keeps them on track. And it's important, because a lot of times we can't do it on our own.
yes, and you shouldn't have to do it on your own. Either find a
Absolutely.
group of friends who are doing it, or your spouse to do it, right? Lean into them. Have your spouse support you, have your mother support you, have your sister support you, have your friends support you. You shouldn't have to do this by yourself, right? But if you're not willing to lean into those sources of support, then find yourself some support. There is absolutely no shame in it, right?
Mm.
Find a phase. There are so many, in this day and age, there are so many Facebook free groups out there. Go for it, right? Dig into them. Find what is resonating with you and dig into that support. So, so I always tell them, whether it's me or not, or
Right.
somebody else, dig into the support. Take
And
up.
I tell people the same thing. Some people may want to work with me. Some people may want to work with you, Soumya. It doesn't matter. Get the help that you need, so that you don't go down the road of sickness and health, and bad health, and, strokes and diabetes. And then with the thing of COVID, I mean, we've almost been on an hour. And I normally don't like to hold the show, because we're talking things that really helping. And then with COVID, our immune system. So we need help with getting our immune system straight and getting that inflammation down. And so being in groups. So I offer a membership and a group coaching. And so if anybody today that's listening want to be a part of my membership, it's very inexpensive. It's $35 a month. And I'm in my Facebook group. weekly doing a master class, and I have Zoom classes once a week, giving you, and you have downloadable workbooks, and then you're in a group with other people going in with you. I have a full class on my page, and I wasn't even going to talk about this, but we're talking about getting help. And so if you need some help, I have the tools that can help you. I'm so Soumya has the tools that she can help you get the help you need. So if anybody is watching the show today that wants to contact me, I always do free consultations. You can go to my website and book a free consultation with me. I'm sure, Soumya, do I have your website?
I don't have a website, but you can get in touch with me on Facebook or by email.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
I will give you Soumya's email. I will get you her Facebook page. But my membership, it's free for $35. My clients pay anywhere from $95 to $135 to have one-on-one access with me. Now, if you're in my membership, you're going to get a lot of access to me for $35. And then if you want a one-on-one coaching, it's an additional $25 a month for one session. That's $55 a month. And I mean, that's amazing. Most coaches are charging triple that for a membership. And so if you want to get my membership, let me know. I would love to be able to put you in there. Or if you want to have a free coaching session, a free consultation, please contact me. Join my private Facebook group. Join Soumya's Facebook group. We are here to help. We're servants. We want to help you. We want you to be well. So thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you, Tarina, for all your beautiful questions. Tarina's been with me for a long time. I appreciate she's put in a lot of hard work. And I appreciate everyone that was on today. Alicia, Marisha, Becky, Alicia, Megan, Paulette, Misha, and Barbara. So thank you, Anne, for being on. Any last words before we go, Soumya? I appreciate your time today. This was a wonderful show. Thank you so much.
So much for this chance to speak to you and your audience. I appreciate it too. I think we had a great time speaking. No, I think I spoke a lot. Lots to take in. So if anybody is looking to change their lives, I think they'll get great pointers from you and me today to change their life around, right? So I think that's it. I would love to sign off and say thank you so much and love this. Thank you.
Thank you. And then now, if you have any materials that you want to share, like I'm going to write up these 5 tips, but if you have those already that you want to share with us, we'll love to take those as well too. But everybody have a blessed and wonderful day. And if you hit me up and say that you watched the show today and you are interested in the membership, and you tell me you watched the show today. Today is July the 18th, 2020. I will even give you something extra special if you want to be a part of my membership today. So I appreciate it. Soumya, we're going to end this broadcast, but I want you to stick around so we can chat a little bit after the show. Thank you, everybody that was on today. I appreciate you. I love you. And we're going to get well together. And this is the beginning, and I'm just so excited. I didn't even talk about my new system. I'll talk about it. I'm going to do a special broadcast about my Let Go system. It's all amazing. It's going to get you the results that you need. But thank you so much, Soumya. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care.
Everybody.